So I was thinking about my Celtics a bit, and I was thinking about their long-term thing. Like, is this the team that we're going to be seeing for the foreseeable future? And while I think Tatum, Jalen, Kemba, and Marcus Smart are safe, I think Gordon Hayward's situation is interesting for a few different reasons. The first one is, this team's going to get expensive pretty quickly. I mean, once they max Tatum in 2022, this team will get pretty expensive, especially if they decide to bring Hayward back as well, because unless Hayward would be willing to take less money, I mean, you're talking about probably 3 guys making over 30. I mean, if we want to do the exact math, like the luxury tax in 2022 is 151 million, and if you add 31, which would be Tatum's because of the max contract rule off of rookie deals, it's 25% of the salary cap. He would get 31, which would make it like 118 because they're committed to 87 right now. I know numbers are flying at you. The point is if they bring everyone back, then they're either basically hugging the luxury tax, potentially over it, and there's other things that apply there as well. You know, Daniel Tice's contract, Langford, you know, just other draft picks they might have over time. But then I think another thing you look at also is Hayward's impact with this team, and I think Hayward's been very good, but there are also been times where he has been just like, well, he's been good and efficient, but in a lower usage type of way, to the point where it's like, could you not find his production at a lower cost? You know what I mean? You know, this season, Hayward, again, he's been good. 17 a game, very efficient, been awesome from 3. I think he's the best passer on the team, and that's nice. But could you not find that on some cheaper thing somewhere? Potentially. That's the big thing. And it's like, would the Celtics believe that they could find that? Especially if Hayward ended up being in a move. Because another part about this as well is like, maybe the Celtics wouldn't want to max Hayward. Maybe they just want to give him, I don't know, 25 a year on average. And maybe Hayward would be okay with that. He might not be. You know, there's reason to believe he wouldn't be. But even if they wanted to do that, if somebody else would just turn around and give him a max, you'd probably take that offer. You know what I mean? So I think that's something that needs to be remembered. It's like, we can have all the conversations in the world about, well, is this guy worth a max or whatever? It usually doesn't matter. It just matters about what someone's willing to pay you. And a guy like Hayward could be worth a max, which I think would be over 30 million for Hayward. I mean, he's been in the league for what, 10 years now, so his would be at least above 25% of the salary cap. Like, he could be worth a max to some other team that's just desperate to get some sort of talent in there, whereas on the Celtics, it's like, well, between Tatum and Kemba taking the most shots, and then you got Jalen being the next guy, like, there's a chance that it would just not be great for Hayward. I think a postseason would be really telling in this, and hopefully we get that. Who really knows? But it's just one of those things that you learn. Like, you learn the chemistry of a team when you're facing a good team in a playoff series, and certain dudes are taking the shots and other guys are just kind of chilling in the background. You know what I mean? Now, even so, I say all of this, Hayward has had some great runs this year of over 20 a game, and he's had other runs of, 13, 14 a game, and kind of disappearing in big games. The Laker game was one when Tatum was going off, and there's a chance I'm reading too much into this. There's a chance I'm, trying to find something for the sake of talking about basketball, but I do think there's something here, because we've seen it before. I mean, the most recent example was with the Bucks, Lopez, Middleton, Brogdon, all these dudes up for free agency, and one guy ended up being gone. Now, we can poke holes in the Bucks strategy, but this stuff happens sometimes. So would it happen with Hayward, and it not necessarily even be a detriment against Hayward? Well, maybe a little bit, because his stay with the Celtics has been pretty weird when you think about it. But more so just like, there's a lot of guys here, and somebody's got to go. And not only that, but again, it's like, could you replace 75% of what Hayward gives you, but do it at a significantly cheaper price. You know what I mean? The potential. Maybe you could distribute the money Hayward's making now, like it's a trade with some other team, and you get yourself like a versatile defender and a good shooter. And would that not be equal to Hayward? And then it's Tatum, Kemba, Marcus, Jalen, and then just dudes playing off of that. And even then, Marcus would be playing off of those three main offensive dudes. It's a possibility, and I think if Hayward became available, teams would definitely be interested in him. So I think these are things the Celtics are definitely looking at. Another factor in all of this is that Danny Ainge is running the show, and Danny, it's business with him, man. You know, there's not a lot of feelings that get in the way of a move with him, and I think these are just things to think about. To talk about just Hayward's stay with the Celtics in general, it is a very weird one. You know, first year, off of an all-star appearance with the Jazz, misses the whole first season. Second year, he's not very good. Third year, up and down with injuries, and then the season just gets suspended. It's like, I feel like Gordon Hayward hasn't really been on my team at all, even though this is actually his third season. It's pretty wild to say. I think I had a joke somewhere, maybe somebody else did. It's like his contract was signed on an Indian burial ground or something. So I don't know. I mean, again, the Celtics, they could just choose to re-sign Hayward and just be like, hey, man, we're going to keep you because you give us a lot of stuff. And again, he does. I mean, you're not going to find a lot of dudes putting up 17, 6, and 4 with good defense on 59% true shooting. He's a damn good player. But if you think that that's what he's going to give you as, you know, the, third/fourth option of this team for over $30 million, then maybe you're like, well, perhaps there's better options out there. I think it's something to think about.